Okay, I call the meeting to order at 1 p.m. on Friday, July 22nd. And we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is roll call. John?
Here.
Dale?
Here.
John?
Here.
Ron is here and Troy is absent today. On the agenda, does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Dale has made a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Sean. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next item of business is the approval of the July 8th meeting minutes on pages 2 through 4. Does anybody have any changes or revisions or anything to them?
I'd move to approve the July 8th minutes, but dispense with the reading.
Sean has moved to approve the July 8th meeting minutes and dispense with the reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The next item is the bills approval to pay, starting on page 5. Anybody wants, apparently the staff is there, so welcome. Anybody's welcome to look through there, look for anything that
Samantha, on page 6, the CC district and the CMCIR expense, the negative balance there is because that's an in-note account. Is that
Correct, yeah.
And the same with the soil
Yep,
expense and
yep, and then all the ones that are on page 7 up on the top. Yep.
and those will be credited back as funds come in.
Yep. It just won't show on the balance because that's the expense.
I'd make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Sean has made a motion to approve the bills as presented. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Dale has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Ron votes aye. The motion is passed. And the next item of business, we have the Garrison Diversion Bald River Valley Water Supply Project. That is going to give us a presentation, so I'll let you guys do what you need to do.
I'm Dwayne DeCray, I'm General Manager of Garrison Diversion Project, and we've got a PowerPoint we're going to go through here quickly. Kip Kovar is our district engineer, professional engineer, and the reason we're here is that the project is advanced far enough that we're going to be doing some surveying and some land service type stuff, and so we're going to be out on people's property, and you may be getting calls from your constituents asking you what's going on. So we're just going to show you what's going on. Now, one of the things we're doing, another task, is we're meeting with every city and rural water system between the Cheyenne River and the Missouri River. And I don't believe we've been to Cooperstown yet, but we will get here eventually. You might ask what Garrison Diversion is. Well, back in the Pick Sloan project, when they put all the dams along the Missouri River, it was totally a federal project. The federal government told the state of North Dakota, you've got to form an entity to be our federal paymaster in the state of North Dakota. So the state legislature, back in '55 or whenever it was, they formed the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District. And as long as they were forming us and we had a federal mission, they said you should also have a state mission. And so our state mission is to make available waters diverted from the Missouri River for irrigation, domestic, municipal, and industrial needs. So that's why we're involved in this by Century Code. We're the lead agency to be taking care of the Red River Valley Water Supply Project. That's what the district looks like. The dark counties are the counties that are members of the Conservancy District. We elect a board of director member from each one of those counties every general election. And did Nikki Boots get appointed, or so she's last week? Okay,
Last
so
week,
she's
yeah.
the Griggs County Commissioner now. So John was, so that's who your commissioner is. This sole purpose of the Red River Valley Water Supply Project is to provide a solution to the water supply and quality problems we have in the eastern part of the state, and now including some in the central. If you've done a water project in North Dakota, you know that you have to have a local sponsor. That's usually the city or a local rural water system. So the legislature back in 2003 formed the Lake Agassiz Water Authority, and that was the local sponsor of the Red River Valley Water Supply Project. This is what it looks like today. The stars are where the board members are from. We have 10 board members, 5 city members, 5 rural members. The chair is Mayor Tim Mahoney in Fargo right now. Vice Chair is Ken Bean. He's a city councilman in Grand Forks, and he's also the chairman of the Garrison Board. And the Red River Valley Water Supply Project, the reason it's needed is because we know that during drought periods that our supply is inadequate, especially in the Fargo area. 1934, we had 5 months of zero flow in the Red River at Fargo. Climatologists are telling us that statistically, North Dakota could have a 30-style drought by 2050. And what's interesting is the 30-style drought isn't even considered a 100-year event. If that happens, we'll have a 41% annual water shortage in a 30-style drought, and that's a $2 billion impact in the eastern part of the state economically every year. So a 10-year drought like the 30s would be a $20 billion hit to the state's economy. We already know now that Most of our groundwater is appropriated out in the state, so if we're going to have any industrial development within the state of North Dakota, we've got to find a source of water. This is what the Red River looked like in 1988. So we had This just shows where our surface water supply is. So we know that most of our groundwater has been appropriated out by the State Water Commission. So the quality water that we have in the ground has pretty much been spoken for. So this just shows what surface water we have available in North Dakota. The rivers are done proportionately, so it shows you what the volume of water would be in each river. You can see that the Missouri River is really the only surface water we have that would be reliable at all. That's 95% of the surface water available in the state of North Dakota. You can see that Grand Forks is a little bit better shape than Fargo would be, because the Red Lake is over here and the Red Lake River flows right in by Grand Forks there. So they have a little better water supply than Fargo does. So the Red River Valley Water Supply Project started out as a federal project. The Garrison Act, which started Garrison diversion, has been reformulated 3 times by Congress. And the latest one is in 2000. It's called the Dakota Waters Resources Act. And they reduced our irrigation that the state was supposed to get every time the act was reformulated. So this was kind of a trade-off to North Dakota, is that the federal government said, we'll give you the Red River Valley Water Supply Project, because the original project, which was supposed to get water to the eastern part of the state, has been stopped, is not going to happen. So we'll come up with the Red River Valley Water Supply Project, and that will replace your water coming through the canal that was initially planned. So between 2001 and 2007, Garrison diversion in the state of North Dakota was appropriated $18 million by the federal government to do 2 things: to do a needs and options report and to do an environmental impact statement. Those 2 things were accomplished. We were able to show through the needs and options report that we had a serious shortage of water, and also in the environmental impact statement we did show that we could environmentally responsibly get water across the state of North Dakota without undue hardship to anyone involved. That's what the project looked like then. The water came out of the McCluskey Canal in a pipe over to the Cheyenne River, and then it would go down through the Bald Hill Dam through the eastern part of the state. That was what that federal plan looked like. So we did the needs and options report, we did the environmental impact statement, we did preliminary design, and then we laid it on the desk of the Secretary of Interior. And the next steps, authorization, appropriation, and final design and construction, cannot happen until you have that record of decision. So that has sat on the Secretary of Interior's desk since 2007. It has never been signed. We've had Democratic administrations, Republican administrations, and North Dakota has never been able to get that record of decision signed. Garrison itself spent a lot of money sending lobbyists down to D.C. trying to find out what the problem was. We even told the federal government, if you'll just give us the record of decision, we won't even ask for any money from the federal government. We'll do the project ourselves. Still couldn't get the record of decision. So what does that mean? That means we do not have access to any of the federal facilities. We cannot use the McCluskey Canal, and we cannot use federal water. And the Missouri River is a navigable body of water, so it's considered federal water. And so we don't have access to the Missouri, and we don't have access to the canal, which is a Bureau of Reclamation federal government structure. So that's why we came up with the state and local plan, because state leaders know that we're still short of water in the state. And we got to do something, even if we have to pay for it all by ourselves. This is kind of what the system looks like today. Some kind of an intake on the Missouri River with a pipe that bypasses the canal and goes all the way to either the Bald Hill Creek or the Bald Hill Dam, or the Cheyenne River, excuse me. This dotted line here just shows that we are doing a Bald Hill Creek study right now, and if the creek will handle the volume of water that we need, we can avoid this 13 miles of pipeline there, and that will save us $60 million in construction costs if we can do that. On this end, we've talked to the Corps of Engineers, and they told us that it's all in the design of your intake on whether you can avoid an environmental impact statement, because the last thing we want to happen is for this whole project to get thrown into an EIS, because that's what stopped the original project. So we came up with a plan. We have a collector well system along the Missouri River if we have to do that. We're still going to try to go to the federal government and work with the federal government because it'll save us an awful lot of construction money and operating cost money if we can work with the federal government. But if we can't, we have shown through some studies that the geology exists and we can pump the volume of water that we need above the high ordinary water mark of the Missouri River, which means once you get above the high ordinary water mark, then you're in state jurisdiction again. So that we have shown that that can be done, and it adds $150 million of cost to the project. So we'd still rather deal with the federal government if we could. This area right here, Garrison is doing a environmental assessment with the Bureau of Reclamation right now to find out if we can access the Bureau water and commingle water, because technically this blue here is the Missouri River Basin and the green is the Hudson River Basin. So any water that we could use out of the canal that wouldn't cross over into the Hudson Basin, technically North Dakota should be able to use that water. So we're doing an environmental assessment to see if we can commingle water. It's done throughout the western United States. North Dakota is doing it right now. We're mixing groundwater with Missouri River water on our irrigation projects on the McCluskey Canal. So there's precedent for it. And our National Legal Counsel has told us that we should go ahead and try to do that. So that's what we're doing. The CHS plant that was proposed at Spiritwood last legislative session, they spent a lot of time and effort trying to get that plant. It fell through. One of the main reasons they gave was that they had an inadequate supply of water. And so the state legislature last session, at the end of the session, directed us to do a study on getting water down from the Spiritwood area. They wanted to do it in one pipe. They thought that was more cost effective and they didn't want to run two pipes. So they said put a system together that uses one pipe and can get water down to Spiritwood and serve central North Dakota and eastern North Dakota. So that's what the plan looks like right now. This is just kind of a schematic that shows you what a conventional intake would be. Just be a pipe into the river, slanted so that the water flows into a caisson with pumps in it. Pumping station and all the waterworks would be outside the ordinary high water mark, so it would avoid federal jurisdiction. Same would be on the discharge. We're doing that with two discharges in North Dakota right now, both Devil's Lake outfits. Outlets are placed above the high ordinary water mark and they free flow into the Cheyenne River. And so as long as the water is discharged before the high ordinary water mark and then flows naturally down to the creek or the river, we wouldn't need to hit federal jurisdiction. There'd be a break tank at the peak of the climb. There's about a 381-foot lift. And that would be roughly in the area of Highway 1400 and 200 intersection where that blinking light is. That's roughly where that would be. And then we have three options for water treatment plants here. And I'm not going to go into all the detail on what the different advantages or disadvantages of all those water treatment plants. But technically, the Boundary Waters Treaty Act with Canada simply states we can't harm each other. And so right now, the Red River, we're dumping the dirtiest water we got in North Dakota, and that's the Devil's Lake, into the Cheyenne, which is going into the Red, which is going up into Canada, and they're accepting that water. And the Missouri River is by far higher quality water than either the Red or the Cheyenne. So technically, we shouldn't have to do any treatment at all. So any treatment that will be done will be a political decision. It won't be an environmental decision. This is what the system completely built out would look like. If you'll notice, there's quite a bit in the central part of the state. The original project only included the 13 most eastern counties of North Dakota. There wasn't any water that was going to come to the west. Once the federal government pulled out, that opened up that option. And so the legislature says we want to put a system in that's good for until 2075. And we're supposed to use a planning horizon of up to 2075 and what the build out would look like so that we can get water across the state. So that's these pipelines here, these haven't been engineered yet. They're just kind of lines on a map on how it could be. We're out getting needs and usages of the water right now, and that'll determine what this will look like. But this is what a possibility it could look like. North Dakota legislature appropriated Garrison diversion $12.3 million last session. We're required to have a 10% match. So that comes up to $1.4 million that has to be raised by the locals. So that gave us a total of $13.7 million to work on the project this biennium. This is kind of what our timetable is. Spring, conceptual design is done. We should have the report any day now. We went into preliminary design then. We'll continue to work on that. Next biennium, implement the phased final design of engineering. And then 18 through 27 do phased bidding and phased construction. And that is subject to legislative appropriations and any other direction that we get from the legislature. So that's just suggested. That's not written in stone. Upcoming work, conventional intake. We're working on that right now, I believe, Kip, right? Or we've got a draft. We're working on it. And to design the horizontal length, Washburn, access agreements. And this is kind of why we're here today, is we've got to do all this stuff on land. North Dakota, I'm sure, is 95% or better privately owned land. And so we will be in the area, and we just wanted you as political leaders of the county to know if you get questions about the project.
Can I add?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're gonna start sending out landowner packets to landowners, and that'll describe what the project is. There'll be an access agreement in there that we'll try to get signatures on. And so that process we're thinking is gonna start in about 2 weeks, depending on where you're at in the alignment. So as far as Griggs County goes, I think we're starting at the other end first. I think we're starting Burley County first. But people in your county will get those packets eventually.
Where does it dump into the Bald Hill? Where at?
It's north, is it north, south of 200? Yeah, it'd be south of 200, right, kind of at the junction of, it's close to where you go to,
It's like 5 miles south of 200,
yeah.
and Bald Hill Creek would be one spot.
So right about, well, that's not
think
5
it's
miles.
right
Right at Hannaford. then.
It'd be north.
Yeah, well, about a mile over Hannaford.
Yeah.
North of half of
I
that,
think that's where we've looked at Bald Hill Creek. That it'd be big enough to support the flows. That would be one option. But we're still studying Bald Hill Creek to see.
It'd be like
That is
Chuck
an option.
Grumman's area then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, right at,
I think it's north of that. I think it's somewhere like where Ray Nelson's at or something.
Yeah, we met
Somewhere
with-
in that area.
landowners along the creek last fall, wasn't it?
Yep.
We were in Hannaford and we met with them last fall.
Yep, we had to get access agreements to do the study, and we had a good turnout.
We had a good turnout at the meeting, and we had excellent turnout for access agreements, so.
How much is this going to increase the flow in that creek in that area?
Well, right now, we're out with a development agreement, which I don't want to get into, but basically, if we can't get 100 cubic feet per second, there's no project, because you can't justify that expense with lower than 100 cubic feet per second. So we've been out meeting with communities, and we think we're at somewhere between 120 and 140 cubic feet per second. So that's what would go into the creek. And it would actually probably be more than that, because I think we've got to have a four CFS maintenance flow minimum, and there might be 20 in there for environmental reasons. So it's, I would say anything from 120 to 160 is probably an honest guess. And we're studying that to see if that creek can actually handle that right now.
And you have to remember, this is a supplemental water supply,
Yeah.
so when it's wet, it wouldn't be running.
Yeah, as long as we're in a period of time like this, all it would be is maintenance flows, unless we get some industrial users along the pipe, then it would be continuous, but.
so what did you say, 120 cubic feet per second?
Yep, that'd be the low end.
So some of those farmers that use that land for pasture for their livestock, they're going to lose that access to that land or lose some land at some
Well, we don't think so. I mean, what studying we've done so far shows that we can keep it within the banks of the Bald Hill Creek, that it wouldn't overflow out of the Bald Hill Creek. And the landowners that we talk to, usually what happens in a normal year, but what's normal anymore, it's been so long since we've had one, but the creek would just dry up, and then they'd have to find an alternate source of water. And so they were actually kind of excited that the creek might actually have water in it all the time, and they could use it as a reliable source for cattle watering and that type of thing. And we had some, of course, that weren't happy about it at all. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
There was some talk last summer or last spring about a potential dam on the Walpole Creek. Is this kind of going to be in correlation with that?
No, this has got nothing to do with the dam, and I think the dam is completely off the
Yeah,
table.
we
That
talked,
was-
we talked to that
I-
local group and everything about it, and they're completely separate projects, nothing.
Yeah, and I think that they hit such headwinds on that dam project that I don't even think it's on the
Yeah.
drawing board anymore. There was a lot of resistance to that.
But doesn't your plan saturate the ground right to the level of the level of the creek? So in essence,
Well-
if you saturate that whole basin to the level of the creek, it's not going to be usable for anything.
Well, I know that there's aquifers along in there, and we have to have a minimum flow of 4 cubic feet per second to just keep those aquifers full. Because
That's right.
if you wait for a drought and then you turn on the pipe, the first thing that happens is you lose all your water because you soak up all that ground. And so there would be some, there would be some of what you're talking about, but I don't think it's going to be out of the creek bed. So I don't know.
No, but the creek bed is a mile wide now, and for a lot of it, it's and the way it looked to me from looking at the plans, the aquifer underneath it would take, what, a year and a half to fill at the rate through the run pipeline?
Yeah,
And it would fill to a point of the mean average of the level of the creek. Well, that would put the water table right at ground level at all times. And you and I both know that at ground level, the land is unusual. And it isn't a creek that's just wide, it's a creek that's a mile wide and comes all the way up. It's a big valley there.
And I don't know if I don't think we're saying the goal is to keep it full to the surface. All you're doing is you're keeping a little bit of water trickling down Baldale Creek to keep some water in that reservoir, in that
Yeah.
sand reservoir.
Yeah,
You're not going to keep it plumb full because you're going to have losses. That reservoir is not like a steel tank underneath there. It's not going to be confined. So if you have a mountain underneath the creek, it's constantly trying to spread itself out. So it's just like today. Or last year, your sand reservoir is basically full underneath the creek.
And we do have to have a minimum maintenance flow because the water will go anaerobic in the pipe if we don't continue to move water. So.
And 120 cubic feet per second equates to what, 74 million gallons a day?
Yeah, I think it's like 80.
Yeah, I think it's
around 80 mg.
I think it's 84 million gallons per day,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sounds better than 120 cubic feet
Yeah.
per second.
That's funny, if you work with like water treatment plant operators, they're always in MGD or GPM.
See, and
Different units.
the reason we use CFS is it's left over from when it was a Bureau project because they do everything in CFS. And we've never switched over. But yeah, as soon as we go out and talk to a water system, the first thing we want to know, well, how much is that per thousand? So, they're talking gallons.
And Baldo Creek is just an option. If that does not work out, if landowners don't want it, we'll go right on to the Shine River.
Go on to the river.
Because we'll most likely need a full easement. So if that's going to create a lot of problems.
Well, either way, it's going to affect Griggs County.
Yeah,
It's still,
Because if you go back to-
it's still the whole total.
if you go back to there, I think that water treatment plant right there is in the vicinity of Cooperstown. So if you end up with that water treatment plant right before it goes over the divide, that is in the Cooperstown area, so that's Griggs County. So it's going to affect Griggs County. That's all we got, unless you got more questions, and we'll get out of your hair.
You guys realize the optics of this, don't you, where you're at the disadvantage?
Oh, yeah.
Garrison diversion hasn't or never will benefit Griggs County, but yet Griggs County is obligated to send $18,000 a year to Garrison diversion. Griggs County never got a chance to vote on being in the Conservancy District. They never got a chance to vote on the money that had been spent. And they were offered the opportunity to be in the Conservancy District because of the carrot. They were going to have all this land irrigated and it's going to benefit you, so why wouldn't you be involved? The money that has been taken out of Griggs County didn't come into effect until 10 years later, and surprisingly, Griggs County residents never got to vote on whether they were going to be taxed.
Yeah.
It goes against the whole nature of the ability to levy property tax ending at the county level, because of course this district is larger than the county level. So then you throw in the fact that now there's no benefit of Griggs County for this water line, but they're paying money towards it. They're going to lose land because of it. They're going to have infrastructure needs, price increases because of it. And you're going to use their tax money to pay for it. Man, it's an uphill battle. Why? I mean, I'm not doubting the relevance of the project. It's just why are Griggs County residents shouldering any of the burden for it?
Well, Griggs isn't the only county in that boat.
Doesn't matter.
We weren't here. We weren't here when the district was formed, and there was a lot of promises made that never came to fruition, and it's the animal we got today.
No, that's not it. That is, you can't do that. The bureaucracy can't drive it can't be the driving factor. If the citizens of Griggs County don't want to be in garrison diversion, they should have every right to vote in garrison diversion. We don't have a system of forced servitude here.
Yeah, it happened before me, but I know that a county tried to leave, I think it was Barnes, tried to leave the district at one time, the Supreme Court, North Dakota Supreme Court ruled against them. And I don't know the particulars of the case.
Well, I do know the particulars of the case, and it doesn't make any difference that they manipulated the law to force us to be a member of this. What matters is it the wishes of the people that are supplying the tax money in Griggs County to be members of this? And then, so I would like to, and I'm going to propose a referendum on the next ballot to ask Griggs County residents just that. Do you want to be a member of garrison diversion? Well, this isn't going to be helpful to having people vote yes to be a member of garrison diversion when all of a sudden now we have people surveying and threatening eminent domain to take their land and all other, and water to Fargo that we're paying for. I know that isn't exactly right, but that's what everybody thinks here. There has to be some carrot for Griggs County. If you're going to get people to be on board with this, then there has to be something in it for them.
You would have access to the pipeline, and if you don't take part of the pipeline, you won't pay for the project.
Well, we pay $18,000 or $1 million every year, whether we like it or not. And as I can only speak for me, but I don't like it. We've paid $400 and some odd $1,000 since inception, and we've only got $78,000 back. Now, garrison diversion, the district, and what the court said was that Barnes County was receiving a benefit. They got 20% back, and that was a benefit. In my life, and in my business life, if I take $10 from you forcibly, and I give you $2 back, did you benefit by $2, or did I steal $8 from you? And so that's the mentality that we're looking at here. We have a bureaucracy that says, yes, you got to receive a benefit because we gave you part of your money back, and we have the citizens saying, man, I don't see a benefit from that. It looks like you put a gun in my head. And they might be on board with it, but to tell them they have to be on board with it doesn't work. And if you look at the political climate nowadays, everybody's looking at the bureaucracies and saying, you guys aren't doing what you should be doing for us. So I realize you guys are put in a tough position. You're employees of the bureaucracy. But it puts me in a very, I have to be what the citizens of Griggs County want done, and that's why I would like a referendum on whether we should be in garrison diversion or not. And of course, if they vote we shouldn't be in there, then I'll oppose this to their very last breath.
What percentage of the easements that we got signed in Griggs County?
Well, the original, I don't know Griggs County specifically, but the original project we had, project-wide, we had about 70%, but we're down to like 34% now because we changed the route of the pipeline.
Yeah, we had 76% on that first route that you showed up there.
But I don't know how much percent there is Griggs County.
Yeah, I have it at the office if you need it.
I know we had a meeting, it was Foster County had a meeting. One of their commissioners was happy as heck because he says he's got 2 pipelines on his ground and he got paid well for both of them and he still gets the farmer. So
Well, there's somebody that shouldn't be a public servant either. If he's go in for personal gain, you gotta get rid of him too, by the way.
How come they didn't dump this in the Cheyenne Way, North Way?
They can't.
Well, the Cheyenne River
Because of the
up
access?
there is not wide enough or deep enough or whatever. It doesn't handle the volume of water that they need up there. And I think it's more like the Baldale Creek up there than it is like a river down on this end. So,
Realistically, I know you probably don't want to answer this, but realistically, I don't think the chances of ever getting water coming into the pipeline and water going out of the pipeline is more than about 50-50. You've already tried this once and it failed, and the same reasons failed for the first time is the same arguments they're using this time.
well, the difference is they'll be in state court.
What's
If
that?
you avoid the federal government, they'll be in state court.
I don't know if
The
you're, I don't know if-
environmentalists and those are going to have a lot less to say in North Dakota state courts than they have in the federal court.
I don't think that's correct. The downriver users of Garrison are going to file in federal court. If they haven't filed already, they're going to file suit against the project because they're taking navigable water away from them. And Canada will certainly file. So that you won't be able to keep it in state court.
If you're not touching a federal jurisdiction or a federal body of land or water, they have no standing in federal court.
We'll see how, just that notion itself to verify who has standing could take 20 years. So,
That's true.
I think you're putting the cart before the horse.
Well, we know a drought's coming, and if we're right now, and we're in the same situation, we haven't done anything by the time the drought hits, then what are we gonna do?
Again, is that the responsibility of the people that are going to be impacted by the drought, or is it the responsibility of all of North Dakota? So a western county that has no benefit from the pipeline.
Well, they've got the Southwest Pipeline, the West Pipeline, and the West Pipeline.
A western county that has no benefit from this pipeline doesn't pay a dime. Griggs County has no benefit from this pipeline and is paying money. You see that this thing isn't. You're using an old bureaucracy that was formed together with the promise of benefit, and now you're trying to apply it and make us be tied into a project that doesn't benefit us. It's forced servitude. It doesn't work. It's an uphill battle, and you'll have everybody fighting it.
Could very well be.
There's a way out of it, you know. If the referendum vote says that Griggs County doesn't want to be in Garrison Diversion, let us out. Use the free market system. If landowners want to be part of the project, pay them enough money to be part of the project.
It's all above my pay grade.
Unfortunately, you're the one that has to take the heat for it.
They pay me well to do that.
I like traveling with him.
Or we don't pay you nothing for it when they employ you.
How long are the easements in place good for?
They were a 5-year, and we won't renew them, so I think we're just renewing some of them. Right?
So we have options. On
Yeah, we don't
easements.
have any easements, we have options.
Yeah. And then we're good for,
You got them for 5 and renewed for 5.
and there's no extension after that.
I don't think there's no options yet on the Ball Hill on the station. There's just a pipeline itself coming to the path of the pipeline.
Yeah, we don't have any flowage.
There's nothing in that.
A lot of legal work here.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's a very worthwhile project. I just think it's not doable.
Yeah, and that's why it's kind of nice that we're going to get after some of the permits early on to see.
Find out what the problems are.
Run the flag up the pole. And then
Exactly. Nobody wants stranded assets out there. I mean,
Eventually, the flag up the pole is going to have to be a white one, boys.
I don't know the meeting they had at the Radisson. And I would like to ask them what's the rather fun, the pipeline getting water in, the diversion getting water out. If they had to pick one, which would they go with?
Either one or both.
Yeah, it is kind of like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
To build a dike, keep everything out, we've got to build a pipeline to bring it in.
I think this one is more more critical.
This is, and it's very, it needs to happen, but it doesn't need to happen at Griggs County's expense. So where's your next stop on the tour?
Wells County, I think.
Well,
We've done Foster, we've done Burley. We got Sheridan left.
Do you have a name for it, the 2016 propaganda tour or something?
Well, where do you think the Sheridan County Commissioners are? They got a great big ditch in the middle of their county that took all their evaluation away, and they're all their people away. Where do you think they're at?
All seem friendly then.
this is big game.
You guys were.
Yeah, you're good. Just mark me down as being on board. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for the presentation, guys.
Yeah, you
They
bet.
got easements on that stuff over by Sutton, Joanne's.
Yeah.
Do you want this in there?
And a thick skin of my bureaucrat numbers.
Well, I guess the next item of business is the road reimbursement request. I don't see anybody from the road department.
No, it's just,
It looks like, I just kind of jumped back to pages 26 and 27. It looks like on page 26, they're asking, we approve $6,991.14.
Yep.
On page 27, they're asking us to approve $25,431.97 for project 53. And
That's actually page 29 is the actual. What's that one? Yeah.
we have 5 of them.
Yeah.
But I think it's just those amounts, right? The pages kind of repeat themselves, but like,
One is, yeah.
so this one here's 4 different projects, and it adds up to that amount in a bunch of different
It's
places.
$6,900.
Yeah, 69.91 is one request for projects, 60, 59, 52 in project 1.
Is that two of them? They're the same amount?
Well,
See, I
I think they're just duplicates.
Is there an invoice number?
have 5, and there are for different amounts. Did I get the wrong?
No, you put one in here twice.
Did I?
Page 14 and page 18 are duplicate. CNOB 2012-001. And it's the same thing. It's a duplicate.
Yeah, because the 4 amounts were, at project 60, they had a current billing of 1,038. Project 59, they had a current billing of 2,966. Project 52, a current billing of 2,630.
Oh, you've got 3 of them in here the same.
Really?
So I think she put a page in for all of them, possibly.
No, but I mean, this billing, this invoice, you've got page 22,
Well,
page
these,
18, and page 14 are all the same.
that's what Jake sent me, and this is the original that I got.
No, but look at them. They're all
What are they?
identical. 14, 18, and 22 are all exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in, what they want is $6,991, right?
Once.
Once, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that one invoice covers the 4 projects.
Yeah, the invoice number is the same on all 3 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it covers projects 60, 59, 52, and 1. So I think they just want 2 checks, one for 69.91.
Well, we're not paying them, we're getting reimbursed.
I think you better table this till we have someone come and explain it to us.
Requesting reimbursement.
These are,
But this one says current invoice amount, 69.91.
69.91, there's one.
But if it's a current invoice amount, aren't we supposed to pay it?
I think we already did,
Oh.
because these are just the exact same ones that we've always done.
Yeah, it just doesn't say reimbursement request.
Oh, yep, there's another one.
But yeah, it seemed like there's a lot of people just,
Weird.
we ought to probably
Okay,
just,
yep,
give
I
you this
will.
stuff in an organized manner and just a cover sheet on it. You know, just
Well, he
saying-
sends them one at a time to me in
Yeah.
an email, and so then I print them out one at a time.
Yeah.
But I will talk to him.
6.
Yeah, just a cover sheet of what are you asking for?
Right. Well, these are just to get the county to get reimbursed. That's all these are.
Even though it says current invoices.
That, I don't know what that, we've always got that sheet, but it's just that Troy usually signs these and then we get reimbursed for it.
Yeah, on the
Four
25.
requests equal to 69.
Yeah, for,
And they're just staggered here on the, if you look, they're just staggered here. I mean, the actual invoice amount is just the same. This is usually duplicates, every one of them. On 13, so if you look at 13, 17, the front page is 21, they're all the same. And 25. There's 4 of them for that 69.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
he printed out the identical thing for the 4, each of the 4 projects, I think.
Okay.
So assuming that one of those 69, 91, 14s is right, then and assuming the 25, 431, 79 is right, but I don't know that.
We don't know that. If, I guess if you did feel comfortable asking for a reimbursement request of the 25,431, we could approve it, but if not, we can table it.
Well, there's this, we'll get reimbursed for $2,638.88, $356.18, $1,038.08, $29.66, and the $25,431.97.
But this doesn't say reimbursement request. It just says-
This
This does.
This does, but this
Yeah.
is totally different from this.
That's the invoice billing us, and then we have to then we use that for the reimbursement.
Yeah.
For the request.
Right, for the request.
So I was saying we could, if these guys were comfortable with the reimbursement request, we could take action just on that and not on the invoices, or we could table it.
Well, there's a reimbursement request for $1,038.08.
Oh,
Hang on,
right here.
take that back. Starting off, the first reimbursement request is for $29.66,
Oh,
right?
Yep.
The second one is for $1,038.08.
oh,
The third one is for $356.18.
Yep.
The fourth one is for $2,630.88, page 23.
yep. And they all come to
And
the
the-
69.
And 27 is for 67, or page 27 is for $25,431.91.
Right.
I make a motion that we accept those reimbursement requests and turn them in for reimbursements.
Okay, John has made a motion that we accept 2 reimbursement requests, one for a total of $69.91.14, and the other in the amount of $25,431.97.
No,
Is that
no,
right?
there's 5 reimbursement requests,
But they add up to that $69.91.
Correct.
but that's just an invoice from KLJ showing the actual request we're making to the Department of Transportation for these individual amounts. So there are those 5
For reimbursement.
Let me restate John's motion. John made a motion to approve the 5 reimbursement requests for the amounts shown on these drawings.
I'll give you the project numbers. It's 2003-059, 2003-060, 2012-001, 2015-052, and 2015-053. Is that correct, Sean?
Yep.
Okay, a motion to submit the reimbursement request for those 5 projects. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Sean has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Ron votes aye, the motion passes. NDACO President's Tour, it's on page 30.
The
What's
tour,
that about?
the tour was supposed to be on August 4th, and they have rescheduled it till August 30th because of the special session.
Troy, do you get to ride in a convertible in a parade or something?
I don't know. The president and a bunch of their people would like to meet with as many elected officials as possible.
Sure.
But that's,
Okay. Is that during one of our meetings or no?
no,
Tuesday.
I imagine we meet on the 5th and 19th of August, don't we?
5th and 19th, yep.
So it's not really, then I hope we meet in September. No, that's a holiday, but I don't know when we meet next, but.
September 9th.
Sure to be our ambassador on it.
Well, yeah. Absolutely. So no action is needed on it at all.
Just letting us know.
And then the next item is tax abatement, pages 31 through 37.
Looks like there are just two of them, is that correct?
No, there's quite a few. There
three of
is one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7? Okay, I wasn't sure. No, there's no things down on the plan.
A couple of them are duplicates.
They're up in the right-hand corner. It's the year.
Oh,
I got it.
gotcha.
1, 2, 3.
But I don't know what I'm supposed to do with these. Because these were the ones that we had the discussion about before, if a commission was supposed to approve them or how this was supposed to be done.
But,
I put the sticky note over the confidential information.
don't you have to send in certification on March 1st of every year that these are correct? I think I read that in the century code, that you have to send in the certification. I could probably find it again. But March 1st of every year that these are correct.
Okay.
You gonna do that?
I think I did it last year, and I think that Patty was doing it this year since she was here.
Well, yeah, but you're the one that has to certify it, the auditor.
Okay.
So you compile them all here and you send them in and.
Yeah, and then you certify it.
Okay, so
And that's
then
always that way, even if we have a tax director.
Yeah, it doesn't.
it's always the auditor that does that?
Yeah, any financial transactions have to take place between the auditor and the treasurer.
Okay.
The tax director's position is strictly advisory. They don't have the power of.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's in 570208. It's pretty clear.
So I keep these.
Mhm.
You guys don't do anything with them.
Well, I don't think.
We'll approve them.
We'll approve them as the tax equalization director.
Okay.
Once they're approved, then they go to the auditor for implementation, auditor and treasurer for implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can I get a motion to, no, we don't, we're meeting as Griggs County Commissioners, aren't we, so. Do we want the commissioners to approve?
Well, ultimately, the commissioners have taken on the duties of the tax equalization director. Correct, Jeremy?
I believe so,
Yeah. So when we are, a tax abatement comes before the commission, we have ultimate authority even when the tax director would approve these, they would bring them before the commission for approval.
Well, yeah, and reading the century code, the tax equalization director didn't have to approve these,
I know.
and neither does the commissioners. We can do it if we want to,
Right.
but it's just kind of a rubber stamp, because we don't even know what the numbers are.
Right.
So it's just kind of to me, it's a goodwill token. I'd like to say, yes, I approve those.
So would I, and it takes a little bit of the burden off the auditor and the treasurer.
Yeah, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve the homestead credits?
I'll make a motion that we approve the homestead credits for Norman Corson, Donna LaFawn, and Leo McKenzie.
I'll second that.
So there's made a motion to approve the homestead credits for the people included in here, and for those people and those years, I guess.
As presented.
Yeah, as presented. And John has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll proceed to the vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Ron votes aye. The motion passes.
I just suppose they submitted an application for 15 and 16, or 14 and 16, not 15.
I don't know. Maybe they had a good
I
year.
presume that it should have been 15, not 16, but I don't know. Maybe. So you process all of them in terms of time, so this gets, so it gets 300?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's a very good tax director position.
You guys all got that application that I sent, so now it's just however you wanna.
I honestly don't think I got it, but that's the
Really?
second email that I just don't recall seeing it.
Okay,
But so if you could send it to me.
absolutely.
I'm not saying I didn't accidentally delete my email, but
Okay.
I just don't remember seeing it.
So maybe we should put that off to next meeting.
Probably would. Yeah, I guess so, 'cause I should have it seen it. And then Troy would be here.
Okay.
All right.
On that note, though, I think we have to try to keep from making the same mistakes we made in the past. So as I reread the century code, and you correct me if I'm wrong on, but it really doesn't give the ability to hire a novice or somebody without experience. It gives you the ability to hire somebody that doesn't have the assessment schooling and rating, but it still says that you have to hire somebody with assessing experience.
They have to be qualified.
Yeah.
And they don't really define qualified.
We were taking it to mean that you just hire anybody and
Train 'em.
train them, and in practice, it hasn't worked out very well. So we need to find somebody that has assessment experience, and preferably they would already have the level one certificate, but it does give us the ability to let them perform the job for 2 years until they get the level one certificate. But otherwise, we're just going to go down the same road, I'm afraid. It's going to be over and over and over again, and we're not going to accomplish anything. And it appears like at any time that the state thinks that we're not doing this correctly, they have the ability to step in and correct that. I don't have the exact, I can't remember the exact phrasing on the
Methods
century
and
code.
procedures, they can change the methods and procedures that the tax equalization director is using to whatever they see fit.
Yeah, so if there's something that is not their liking, no matter who is the tax collector, they have the ability to step in and fix it. And being they haven't done that yet, I take that as an indication we're doing things right. Other people might disagree with that, but,
Yeah, I'm sure the tax commissioner's office was notify us if there's any problems.
yeah, you would think so. So maybe we will get somebody that is qualified.
Okay, so we'll table that and discuss it at the next meeting. 2015 on it. There must be a big communications breakdown there, because,
What's that?
well, there's a big communications breakdown there, I guess, because Rotunda said he'd have it at our July 8th meeting, and no problem at all, he'd send it to us in advance. And we told him the agreement with the building authority had no effect on it whatsoever. He didn't need that, but now he's waiting for it.
We got it sent out, and he just wasn't able to be here today because he had to be in Minot.
Well, does he have it
But-
finished?
I asked him to send it, but he said that he will be able to be here August 5th. That's the response I got, was that he'll be able to be here
Well,
August 5th.
the sooner he can send it, the more we can look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah, and I did let him know that you guys would like to see it beforehand.
Right.
So,
Is it a communications breakdown or just the lack of?
Okay, so that'll be on the agenda next meeting, I guess. And then the 2017 budget.
so that took me a little bit longer than expected, and I had convention as well last week. So it did get sent out on Monday, and I got a few back, but nothing that's we're able to even look at. So I said that I did need it by August 4th so that I could get you guys their budgets by August 5th. The only one that said that they would have a problem was social services. They've got their stuff all booked up, and I guess I was a little too last minute to ask them to do that. So they will have it to you guys by the August 19th meeting.
Seems like they should know they've got to do an annual budget.
I'd make a motion to take a 5-minute break.
John has made a motion to take a 5-minute break. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We will take all the meeting back to order at 2:07 then. And the next item is old courthouse, new courthouse.
The only thing was page 40. This is advanced fire protection and let me read the lettering. They didn't seem to enthuse with that anything to do with servicing. It appears like this letter was written to John Steen, and if you look at the next page, a change order, credit for work not completed. What happened was construction engineers deducted $2,000 from their total for work that hadn't been completed. They turned around and billed us $800 when they completed it. So he should have been happy he made $800. So I think we should contact another supplier. What was the name of the other supplier?
Yeah, I was going to just add too that I did call Electric Watchman this morning, and they weren't much help at all. You know, I pointed out the guy was here Monday morning at 10:40 and wrote this report, and they said, "So what's your question?" I said, "Well, did you fix it?" And he said, "I don't know." So
They didn't fix it. What they did was they turned on our water again so that we do have fire protection. And they said that there's something wrong with our dry system.
yeah,
I don't know what that means.
it reminded me of that TV commercial.
I'm not a security guard.
Yeah,
A security monitor.
well, yeah, I'm just a monitor. Your courthouse may have burned down.
Security monitor, security service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Googled it. I know it looked like there's 3 or 4 companies. One in Fargo, one in Grand Forks, and a couple others around. Dakota Fire Protection was one, I think, and Midwest Fire Protection might have been one, and possibly some others. So I imagine any of them are acceptable as far as I'm concerned.
I think the one.
Start with an N then.
Yeah.
Or Narrabee or Nanabe or something.
Yeah.
I saw them too.
MDM does fire protection systems too. They're doing the hospital in Fargo, I think, on the hospital. But I don't know if they do maintenance or this or maintenance.
Nardini, Nardini,
No,
fire equipment, and that's the one that does all the hoods and stuff around here for the restaurants.
What about for the hospital? I wonder, do they have?
They gotta have something.
Yeah, I don't know if it would make sense to use the same one they're using on a fire sprinkler system. But that's probably about the only building that's sprinkled besides this one.
Well, we should we should contact a number of them and see if there's a maintenance program that we can put on, and it's certainly something that has to be taken care of. I mean, sprinklers come on when they're not supposed to. It does more damage than if it was a fire.
Or there's a fire and the sprinklers don't come on.
Yeah, well, same thing.
Whether it's an annual inspection or semi-annual, or whatever.
There can only be one fire and the sprinklers don't come on. There are going to be whole times when the sprinklers come on and there's no fire.
Yep.
So, the potential for multiple damage. Maybe you can Google that, Sam, and send out letters of requesting services providers on what we have, and system we have and whether, and would they be interested in entering into a service contract.
Okay, what system do we have?
Well, just a fire protection system for a public building.
Okay, I didn't know if there was like a N100 or something.
Well, I'm sure there is something.
They'll send out a RFP, or request for proposal, I guess.
Yeah.
They'll respond with their proposal.
We've been for 29, 30.
That's the way they do, I mean, they're used to doing business that way, the lawyers and everything like that way.
And they may want to come out and look at it and see what we got. So a lot of guys picked up the bid form on the concrete?
We had one
One
this far. Yeah.
so far. Yeah, they still got a couple weeks, I guess.
So we're on, what are we on now? New courts?
New courthouse, old courthouse.
Do you think we could take the bid out for the flooring?
Well, I think so. I don't see any reason why we couldn't. And, well, I suppose we could put it up for flooring and glass. And for both of those, we could probably tell the bidders to take an inventory of what we got here. And like, they gotta furnish all the glass that's missing. Because at that entryway, there's quite a bit of glass they gotta buy.
And that was never provided under the original contract?
Apparently not. Hope Glass at least said that they were never paid to furnish any of that glass. He was real adamant about it, because I said, well, didn't you buy that glass already? And he said, no, that was not in theirs. And that's some pretty big pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
But we could probably set up the flooring bid and the glass bid kind of the same way. Take an inventory of what we got, and you got to furnish all additional material. Put that in your bid. You know, include that amount. And I can write that up if you want, to give you those two bid forms. In concrete or...
Just the bid forms, and then I put out like the exact same thing for an ad that I kind of did for the concrete.
Yeah, it would be. Let's see, do we want to advertise for carpentry work? Glass, flooring, and I don't know about carpentry work.
Probably, let's just wait on that.
Just kind of roll them as we go here and
See, because I think as we go along here and we get the bids, then that will determine how much work we can actually do.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to get too far ahead
If
of
we
ourselves.
prioritize everything, if we got down to the last, the biggest item is going to be finishing the courtroom. And if we leave that till last, if we put it first, it sucks up all the money and you can't finish off the rest of the building, then the whole building sits. If the courtroom is the one that runs out of money and we have to wait a little bit, at least we can use the rest of the building.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should have somebody put in a wood base where the carpet goes. But could we just hire Scott to do that and come out on an hourly basis and just have them put in wood base at the carpeted areas?
Well, we're short a 134 foot, 12 foot wide of carpeting. And I just went and did some rough, that's what it's short. I did some rough figuring. I don't think we're short. I don't think they had bought it. I don't think that carpet was supposed to go in the courtroom. I think that's where the shortage is.
Well, the courtroom gets carpet tile.
Right.
And KJ said they got enough carpet tile.
To do that?
Yeah, they said there's no shortage of carpet tile. And that went in the courtroom and down the corridor.
Right, I knew that.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, so we're still short 180 yards
Of the roll carpet.
roll.
Yeah.
I just assumed that was going into the courtroom.
No, I think that's carpet tile,
Okay.
so we could get that, I guess. And that's probably, I don't even know where the wood base goes. I think it's in the courtroom. But I don't know what, I mean, if all areas with carpet tile get wood base or not. But the plans are down at KJ's. We can
Right.
find out.
Yeah, they came in and told me.
So I haven't had a chance to look yet, but it looks like 3 large rolls were delivered and 9 small rolls. I don't know what that, we just need to now determine how much total carpeting was supposed to go into the project and determine whether or not those 3 rolls and the 9 rolls could have covered that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we did get 3 rolls. I mean, we know we got 3 rolls.
There was three, and how much, they just used one, didn't they, on the EOC?
And that would make perfect sense, because it's basically a 1/3, 2/3 project, so that would make sense.
So there's not two, is there still two rolls out there?
There can't be,
Oh.
is there?
I don't know.
There can't be if there's one short.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there could be.
Yeah, because they said there was three rolls originally, so if that's the case, somebody stole. Because there were three there at one time.
If it only took 3, right?
If it only took three.
If it's supposed to take 4, then
Yeah,
there's
then-
still one short.
Yes.
But either way, we haven't determined whether or not we paid for 4 and got 3, or paid for 3 and got 3.
No, we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know that.
So,
The inventory was.
Where did it come from?
Lehman, Ullman in Fargo, subcontractor to construction engineers.
But the invoice didn't say nothing about X amount.
Quantity
It said
or-
three large rolls and 9 small rolls for the picture of.
No yardage or anything on it?
Yeah, so-
Is there two rolls in that court, like, entryway?
Well, at one time, I thought there was three big rolls.
There was, and there's a picture of them they were laying in the EOC. That's what the picture, I've got a picture of it.
Yeah, so if there's still two big rolls there, seems like that'd be enough, but apparently not.
No, they say it's one short.
Yeah, so maybe there was supposed to be.
Unless the K&J foreman in their original estimate didn't see with her roll, didn't take that into account. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't know. They were out here the other day, though, measuring it again.
Yeah.
And they said the same thing, that it was short, so. But I guess if we write the bid form just saying inventory what's out there and furnish all the extra carpet as needed and itemize that in your bid, tell us exactly, in case we take legal action against Flamin' Olin or something, tell us how much carpet you had to buy, and then we can,
Yeah, I was gonna call.
and I'll do that.
I was gonna call construction engineers, but I could never determine the total carpeting that was bid, because they didn't give us and what we received, so there's no way I could ask the right question.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but I don't think it has to delay the taking of bids,
No.
even though we're gonna be floundering a while to figure out who's responsible for paying for it. We can
Right.
still take the bids, I guess.
And I do know that particular carpeting is not available anymore.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, it's going in these offices, it doesn't matter
Break the pattern from
Right.
room to room.
because the hallway is the carpet tiles anyway.
Mhm. That's the way I understood what Kevin
That's,
told me.
yeah.
So if the office is different from the hallway, it don't matter anymore.
No. So I make a motion, we let the bids for the carpeting and the glass.
Yeah.
Advertise the bids for the carpet, excuse me. Advertise the bids for the carpeting and glass.
Yeah, John has made a motion that we advertise for the carpeting and the glass bids, and I suppose they will be advertised in the, where the hell are we?
Do you want to open them September 9th?
Let's see, today, we'll advertise on the 29th, the 5th, and the 12th, and then open them on the 19th?
Is that what you want to do? Great.
And we meet on the 19th, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And
Well,
then,
yeah,
and then we a
advertise.
60-day
Yeah.
window for completion after
Yeah.
the 19th.
Well, I might have forgot, did we put that in the last advertisement?
Yes.
60 days?
60.
Because I couldn't remember putting it in the bid form
Oh.
either.
I'm pretty sure I
Well, we
did.
talked-
I'm hoping you did, because I think I
I
forgot.
saw it written somewhere, I don't know if it was a draft or not, but I saw it written somewhere.
That's the draft thing, so.
Well, then, yeah, then I did.
Okay,
Because I sent
I'm
that.
glad you remembered.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Motion seconded by Sean. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, same sign. And motion passes. And the other one soon will be mechanical, of course. And he could finish up the air conditioning almost, because he's got to set 6 units, doesn't he?
The units are all in the garage.
Yeah, I think the units are all there. We could almost say the same thing. Bid it and tell us what you're going to be short in case something's missing. But I imagine there's toilets in there because there's the judge's bathroom and the other bathroom, and I suppose they get a sink. I don't know if it gets a cabinet or anything. But
We need the floor down for that, correct?
Yeah, before the plumbing goes in, but they could sure air condition it and balance it, you know, get the right amount of cooling and stuff coming out of each piece of ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose we could do it in the same time frame.
Should we wait till next meeting and do that?
Okay.
So we had to stagger it a little bit?
Yeah, because we may not have enough money to do that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, good point.
And then we could do the heating, cooling, and the carpenter work on the next one, you know, that everything staggered 2 weeks to get kind of.
That way we're opening bids and then.
Yeah. And then they've got time to get started, and then just, you know, it'd be nice to have the outside work done before they get
Yeah.
coming in, and, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have the carpet and glass though on this one that's going in, right?
Do what's that?
You made a motion for both carpet and glass.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And don't you think the last one should be mechanical and carpentry work, woodworking?
Yeah, and I don't think there's any electrical work. I wouldn't swear to that. And I don't think there's fire protection. I
That's
don't.
been signed off, so
Yeah,
there can't be any left.
it shouldn't be. Well, there's just, yeah, miscellaneous work, patching. But yeah, mechanical might be the end of it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there'd be some landscaping possibly.
Oh, yeah, maybe the owner can do that. All right, good. Any other business on the old courthouse, new courthouse?
Anything, Sam?
Future business?
Well, I would like to
Budgets, I guess.
Jamie research the referendum vote on Garrison version. And I know it can't be binding, but I think we do have the ability to put a referendum on that. On whether or not Griggs Colony residents want to keep participating in Garrison Conservancy District.
That makes sense. And one other item, and I'm not really suggesting it for future business right away, but someday we gotta figure out if social services, if we're gonna pursue talking to them about moving in here, we can't forget about it forever, because it's gonna have a cascading effect.
Yes, it is.
You know, that depending on which offices they take, that'll move people all around the place.
Yeah, you're
So,
right. That's probably something that needs to be done real quickly. I mean, social services and the water board.
yeah, it seems like it, that if we're gonna do that,
You have a plan in place.
yeah, I don't know even how to do it. If you got, there's two of you on the board of the commissioners, do you wanna just, you two, is that legal, just have them?
Well, why don't we just put the water board and social services on the agenda for next meeting
Okay.
and sit down and have a discussion about it.
Okay, then,
Start there.
yeah, then they could be here if we need to.
Because there's definitely, I mean, I don't know how much money there is to be saved doing this, but there is some. Unfortunately, there's still money owed on that
Of the building.
building for another 3 years, I think. But the water board pays, what, almost $600-700 a month rent or something like that?
That's
Four. So there's savings there. And there's certainly enough room. I mean, there's plenty of room to maneuver this around.
It's just the logistics of it to get it
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
There should be a sales price on the existing building, unless we have to pay somebody to take it.
Kind of looks that way.
It does, but.
A lot of buildings.
But I mean, you would have the economy of scale, you'd have everything moved in here, and
Mhm, that's the main
you
thing.
you know, straight $400. So I mean, there's $4,800 there that I'm sure the water board would appreciate not having to pay in rent, and that could go into we wouldn't have to reduce their budget, that would go into projects. I don't think we have to charge them for using the building and you know.
If we did that, we'd have to charge the auditor and charge the treasurer.
So So the
Wasn't that why we gave her a raise?
To rent their space.
the problem is social services will still be burdened with that payment that
Yeah.
they're incurred.
Guys,
I wonder if it isn't down to 2 payments.
18, I think it's done.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I have a bond hearing at 2:30. You guys need anything else from me?
No, I don't think so.
Thanks.
Just go in there and supervise and build that dam.
I thought your dad was gonna come.
I talked to him. He didn't have enough.
I thought you always wanted a cabin.
What's that?
I thought you always wanted a cabin.
Well, that's why I said we should just start selling our property over there.
All right. Any other future business?
I will have the 2015 audit and the 2017 budget on the agenda for next meeting.
Good.
Right, and then social services and the water board as far as space in the new courthouse.
Okay.
And then Jamie will have the referendum language hopefully.
Yeah, and I think we've got quite a bit of time on that. It's just that,
Shouldn't go get that on the fall.
yeah, the fall ballot, yeah. And again, it won't, from what I can understand, it isn't binding. It's just a referendum. It's voting people like Don, how would you like us to proceed? And being there, now the rest of this is gonna come to light and it's gonna cause some controversy and I'd like to be in the right side of this thing. If the majority of people in Griggs
Now's
County
the time
want
to-
this done
yeah.
and wanna be in Garrison Diversion, then I better not be even opposed to it.
Yeah. Now's the time to
Yeah.
check it out.
So, we'll see.
Move we adjourn.
Sean has moved that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we'll adjourn this meeting and have the next meeting on August 5th at 1 p.m.
Same time.
Oh, we adjourned the meeting at 2:31. And the next meeting will be on August 5th at 1 p.m. and August 9th